It's embarrassing for me to say that far too many times I question if I really do know how to code. Right out of college, I got lucky and landed a job as a software engineer and have been working ever since. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what a workday looks like for me, an average software engineer, and along the way, share some tips on how I get work done with my very mediocre skill set. I first win the mornings by heading to the gym to get a workout in. If you have a sedentary job like an office job where you're not really moving throughout the day, I feel like it's necessary to find ways to get steps in or even a workout in. I found out that working out in the morning helps me be more alert and improves my mood for the day. Good habits like going to the gym or doing something in the morning to improve yourself helps you get an early win to the day because habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The same way that money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. And I kind of had to remind myself that showing up really matters, and small wins throughout the day allows us to focus on the progress of our goals. So the first thing I do is basically create a to-do list to remember all the things I need to accomplish for the day. This helps me stay focused and, not forget the things that I had in mind to accomplish. And so I usually write my to-do list on a notepad like this, or I write it in my notes on the computer. Before I start work, I like to make a caffeinated drink. So let's do that. So what I'll be working on today is basically improving the performance of one of the APIs that we own. One of the biggest bottlenecks is interacting with the database. So every interaction, such as a read or a write into the database, is pretty expensive and can take a lot of time. And so currently I'm finding ways to improve the performance so that every call to the API that we own is performant and meets our SLAs. Just taking a break from work, I wanted to share with you guys some tips that I learned as an average software engineer that helps me get work done. So the first tip that I learned as an average software engineer is to not reinvent the wheel. And what that means is essentially giving you permission to copy code from the code base and apply it to wherever you need to apply it. So for example, let's say you wanted to add a text input. So all you need to do is basically look in the code base. For example, let's say this is the code base, and you can copy and paste whatever you need into what feature that you're building. There's been times where I copy, for loops to the point where I don't even remember how to write a for loop. But essentially that saves me so much time. I don't need to focus on the code and focus more on the feature that I'm trying to build and worry less about the syntax. That allows me to quickly develop and build a feature that I'm working on. Next tip is to write code that makes sense, and I'm basically mean writing code that is readable and understandable to anyone that is reading it. There's many times in the code base that I'm working in where the variable names or the method names are very short, abbreviated, or written as acronyms. So for example, if you have a date of birth variable, would you want to name it DOB as an acronym, or would it be better and easier to understand if the variable was spelled out date of birth in camel case or snake case? So for me personally, I don't like to shorten the names, whether it's variable names or method names down. I like to really spell it out so that anyone who may be reading my code can understand what's going on. And writing code that makes sense will help you in the review process, because the team members who are reviewing your code can understand what it's trying to do and can help lead you to an approval of that code so it can be merged in the code base. The last tip that I have is to tag others in your messages. What I found was that if I tag other people in messages, that allows more people to be involved into the conversation, and I will get a quicker response to my message. And I've done this from engineers to senior directors, and that allowed me to get a really quick response from them, especially if they're not really responsive. So yeah, these are the 3 tips that I learned, and as an average software engineer, these tips really helped me throughout the day and really get work done. Try this out and see if it works for you. So I usually take walks outside, but it's extremely hot today. But good thing I have a treadmill. That wraps up my day as an average software engineer. I usually spend the second half of my day on the couch just to be a little bit more comfortable. If you want to see more videos of a typical day in my life, I'll add another video here for you to check out. And I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.